Okay. I'm going to record it and then I'm going to send it to you. Okay. Perfect. Okay. Can you guys see my screen still? Nurat, are you able to see my screen? Or I have to share it?
Yes, I can see a screen. Yes.
You can see the webinar, right? Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
All right. So, a short introduction to the Startup Visa program. As I mentioned, this program started in 2011, and at that point of time, it was a very niche program. The Canadian government wanted everybody to apply as startup visa entrepreneurs, get creative and innovative ideas to Canada. And because of the success that it had during those years, the program became permanent. And now, the program has been a successful program for the past many, many years, as you can already see, through all the different testimonials and people who have been coming through this program. So, I'm going to take you through the entire startup visa journey, what it basically means, how you can obtain permanent residency under this program, and what does the process basically looks like. So, the first thing that I'm going to talk about is your team. So, when you come as a team, as a group of co founders, you can be a group of 4 to 5 co founders in a company. Okay. The idea that you bring to the table has to be an innovative idea, it has to be a creative idea, and there are certain legal requirements that you have to comply with when it comes to the startup visa program. You have to comply with the Canadian regulations. So you may have to comply with a significant benefit. You're bringing significant benefit to the country. Your idea is able to create job opportunities in Canada. It is adding to the economy in Canada. This is a globally scalable business. So all of these 5 founders will have their own set of expertise that they carry, the professional backgrounds that they carry, and they come as a team. They give the idea to the Canadian government. They approach a designated organization, which could be an angel investor group, it could be a venture capital fund, or it could be a business incubator. You approach the idea and you approach with your idea and approach the designated organization, and from there you obtain a letter of support. Okay. So it's essential that your startup is supported through some business consultancy, any business consultancy or a law firm or an RCIC who are experts in these fields, right? Because any idea that you bring to the table may or may not qualify under the startup visa program. As I said, there are some legal requirements you have to comply with. So you always need the support of a business consultancy to do this. That is recommended. The third thing, as I said, the letter of support. This particular document is the most important document in the entire process. Okay. When I say letter of support, it basically is a commitment from an investor. It's an intent to invest into your company at various stages. Once you have some level of development in your company, if, for example, a product prototype has been made or an MVP has been made, so there is a term sheet that the investor basically signs with all the co-founders, and he lays down all the terms and conditions there according to however he analyzes your business idea, and based on that, that term sheet is signed between the co-founder and the investor. So the letter of support basically entails that it is a commitment from that investor that he will be investing so and so amount, any XYZ amount that he thinks is correct for your company. He's going to put that money into your company once you start the process with him, right? So once you do the filing, you're going to obtain your permanent residency. If, for example, if you've achieved X amount of revenue in 1 year or 2 years, the investor is going to put X amount of money into your business. So that's exactly how a term sheet is done. So for obtaining the letter of support, this entire process needs to be done. So, for the first thing is that you need to come up with a viable business plan. You need to come up with a good presentation, a pitch deck that you can present to the designated organization and the set of investors you will be meeting at different incubators and angel investor groups and venture capital funds. Okay. The third is that these designated organizations will take your interview. They will ask you questions about your business plan, the idea, how did you come up with this idea, right? And how did the co-founders meet, and what problem is it solving? And what sanction are we really looking at? One second, I'll mute this person. Okay, everybody's on mute. Okay. So, what kind of idea are you bringing to the table? One, so what solution, what problem are you solving in Canada currently, and why have you chosen Canada as your as the company that you want to get to Canada? Why this idea you want to bring to Canada? Those kind of questions will be asked in this particular interview. Now, some of these designated organizations will give you about 5 minutes to pitch your idea. Some of them will give you about 90 seconds to pitch your idea, depending on which designated organization you're dealing with. And then you will get introduced to the investors over there in this pitch presentation. Some of the investors may just approach you and say that, we like your idea. We may want to actually go ahead and, maybe put in money into your business. So that's how you obtain the letter of support in a nutshell. The fourth and a very important stage is the immigration stage. So after you obtain the letter of support, the next stage is the immigration filing stage, which is your permanent residency filing. Now, to all the people listening to me right now, this is a direct permanent residency program. Okay, so the lawyer involved will go ahead and file for your permanent residency directly. And you also do have an option to apply for a work permit, which IRCC recently announced in the last couple of months that they are giving open work permits. They're open to giving open work permits to the primary applicant for 3 years in this entire process. Okay. So we'll apply for the permanent residency first, and then we also apply for a work permit if you have opted for that. So work permits are optional. When you do apply for a work permit, the primary applicant and the secondary applicant, which is your spouse, also gets an open work permit for 3 years. And if you want to come on a work permit sooner to Canada and explore the country and start working on your company, then your kids, if you do have kids who are going to schools and universities, the lawyers will go ahead and file for their student permits. Okay, so this is in the part of the entire process. This is a family immigration program, so your entire family is included, not just you, for permanent residency. Immigration filing is done, and then post that, you may expect a medical request from IRCC asking you to do some medical exam, making sure that you're not inadmissible in Canada due to some medical condition you may or may not have, right? So, a medical test will be done by a certified doctor. You will have to go and get your test done. Post that, you may also receive some ADRs, which are additional document requests, and PFLs. PFLs are process fairness letters. Additional document requests basically are they can ask you for updated proof of funds, they can ask you for police clearance certificates, and I will take you through the entire list of documents that are needed in this process so everybody knows what kind of documents can be asked. Okay, so this is what immigration entails. The fifth and the most important point in the startup visa journey is the compliance part. Now, a lot of founders may feel that we've applied for permanent residency. Now we just have to simply wait and get our permanent residency. But during the process, while the processing is ongoing, you also have to ensure that you're complying with the startup visa requirement, and you're also very active during this entire process. Okay, because IRCC, what they're trying to do is they're trying to establish a real intent behind running your company, right? Do you really want to run this company in Canada? And to showcase that you're really interested in running this company in Canada, you have to also make sure that your accounting is on point, you are doing your tax filings every year, and you're complying with the tax regulations in Canada because you're intending to start a company in Canada. And you also give IRCC progress reports, which are quarterly progress reports or 6-month progress reports to IRCC as to, so they basically know that, you're basically moving ahead with your company. There is some sort of a development that is happening in your company at the moment. As far as hiring is concerned, hiring is always recommended during the process. So if you can hire any intern or co-op students or anybody part-time or full-time within Canada, it will showcase that you are creating job opportunities in Canada through this startup company. Okay, so that is an entire, we do a lot of mentoring sessions and webinars and seminars for startup founders who have filed under the Startup Visa program. And we guide them through the entire process as to what can actually make them successful in their startup visa journey. And, how their startup can be more successful in Canada once they obtain their permanent residency. So, if you decide to move ahead with us, make sure that you're always available for these mentoring sessions. Do not miss any of these because they're very, very insightful. Okay. So this is the entire startup visa journey. Moving on, I'm going to stop here and ask you all if you do have any questions till now. Long questions we can answer towards the end, but is everybody with me? Is Just give me a thumbs up so I understand everybody is listening. Is everybody listening? Can you all give me a thumbs up maybe so I'll know that everybody is listening? Okay, excellent. I got it from a few people. All right, excellent. Moving on. Now, very, very important slide for me, the benefits of the SUV program. Now, many of you may not even know about this program because it's a very niche category. And it's a very complex program because it's a business immigration program. And, I'll say very few law firms are also able to do it. Very few business consultants are able to do it correctly. Okay, because you may find a lot of people in the market saying that, we're doing SUV program and, it's easy to get a letter of support. In my experience, it is not easy to obtain a letter of support. You have to be thorough with your business plans. You have to make sure that you are on point with your pitch that you're pitching to the investors, and basically able to answer pretty much all the questions that they're asking you. So let's talk about the benefits of the startup visa program. The first is that I already mentioned it's a direct pathway to PR. Okay, now most of the programs, I'll say 90% of the programs in Canada, they entail a comprehensive ranking system, which means there's a point based system with all these provincial nomination programs. And you talk about LMIA, you talk about Express Entry, you talk about CEC, which is the Canadian Experience Class. All of these programs, they entail CRS, which is comprehensive ranking point based system, right? Now, with this program, there is no such calculation. So, if you are 18 years of age, 18 and above, and you've just passed from college or university and you want to start a business in Canada, you are equally eligible versus somebody who is 70 years old and has a lot of experience in his or her background, immense experience of work. They can also qualify at the same time. So there is no CRS based point system, firstly. So you are not, your eligibility is not defined based on the points. There is no draw that is going to happen here in the startup visa program. So it's a direct pathway. Secondly, it's a family immigration program, which means if I apply for one applicant who's going to be the primary applicant, we also apply for the others. The immigration lawyers will be filing for you, for your spouse, and your kids. And there is no number of kids that you can have. I mean, even if you have 10 kids with God's grace, you're still eligible for this program. We will still go ahead and file for the entire family for you. So you don't have to spend separate amount of money or wait for your family to come to Canada. They're actually coming with you under this program. The fourth point is there is no minimum education criteria. Now, I'll say that in the past couple of years, IRCC had an education criteria of senior secondary, at least senior secondary for the startup visa program. However, recently on October 4th of 2024, they removed the education criteria, and we don't see that criteria anymore on the IRCC website. So there is no minimum education criteria. So any of you, if you are running a business and you don't have basic education, but you have been very, very successful doing that business, you are equally eligible. Okay, so we don't require any education documents. The fifth point I've already mentioned to you all is that they've given an excellent opportunity to founders to make sure that they can apply for open work permits if they want to come sooner to Canada and they want to start their business and explore the country. Now, I'll explain you the difference between open work permit and closed work permit. Now, any other program that you go for, whether it's provincial nomination or an LMIA, you will always get a closed work permit, which means that you can only work with that particular employer. and you cannot explore options of working with any other employer in Canada because you're on a closed work permit. However, on an open work permit, from day one, you and your spouse are eligible to work with any employer of your choice along with running your company in Canada. You will be under the open work permit under the startup visa program. However, you can also work with other employers, take care of your monthly expenses, fund your startup through that employment that you have. So, this is an excellent opportunity for anybody who wants to come sooner and wants to start their business here. It is also a very good opportunity for people who want to send their kids overseas to universities, to US, to Canada to study, and along with that, they want to run their business also. You can directly get student permits for your kids, and you can put them in universities and schools in at a sooner sooner time frame. You don't have to wait for so many years. The sixth is that there is no provincial restriction in this program. Now, that in clear word basically means that you can land in any province of your choice in under the startup visa program, except Quebec. Quebec is a French speaking population and hence it is excluded from the federal programs, right? They have their own startup visa and business immigration programs. There's a French requirement there. So, except Quebec, you can land in anywhere. Ontario, British Columbia, Saskatchewan, all of the other provinces are open, which you will not get in any other program because provincial nomination programs in itself, they actually mean that you have to stay in that province and work there and get your permanent residency in that province, right? Here, there is no such restriction. It is a federal program. The seventh thing is that when you get a closed work permit, now you may or may not get an open work permit, depends on the officer who's assessing your application. But once you get a work permit, you may be eligible for domestic fees for your kids. Now, most of you may already know that international fee in Canada is a lot of money you have to spend every year for your kids if you want to send them to universities and schools, right? But when you are on a work permit in Canada, on a closed work permit, you some of the universities basically offer domestic fees. Okay, you have to research and see what universities offer that kind of structure for your kids. But a lot of my clients have actually been receiving domestic fees for their kids in select institutions. So this is an added benefit if you want to send your kids to universities and you are already spending a lot of money there. You're going to save a lot of money by applying for work permit under this program. And finally, there is no minimum experience required. There is no mention of minimum experience needed on the startup visa program as far as the IRCC website is concerned. So, as I said, even if you're a fresh graduate, you don't have any experience, and you have a brilliant idea that you can bring to Canada and you're solving a problem in Canada with a creative and a very innovative solution, you can go ahead and apply under this program. Okay, these are some of the benefits that I'm telling you of the startup visa program. We'll talk about the timelines and the rest of the stuff. Now, I don't know how many of you live in Canada currently, but I'm guessing most of them are from Nigeria. Am I correct, Nurat?
Yes, you're correct. Most of us here are from Nigeria.
Most of them are from Nigeria, right? So I don't have to say that, the quality of life in Canada is excellent. I mean, Nurat is living here for a very long time. I've been here for a very long time. And I'll tell you about myself. Me and my husband, we were in the US for a very, very long time. And we were doing really great as far as career is concerned and life is concerned. I had both my kids there. But we decided to leave the US because of immigration issues that we were facing, and we came to Canada. And in no time, guys, I'll tell you, in a couple of months after I applied, in about 9 to 10 months, I got my permanent residency. Okay, so the quality of life is excellent here. You can't even compare it with any other country. Education is excellent. We have one of the most top universities in Canada. Okay, healthcare wise, you already aware that the healthcare system is publicly funded, and if even if you have a small fever versus you have a big surgery that you have to take care of, you don't have to pay anything out of pocket. Okay, it is directly covered by the government. Once you have your health card in place, you don't have to worry about your health issues at all, and all your family members will get that. Okay, Very strong economy Canada has now. Our prime minister has changed. Our immigration minister has also changed. We have a new government, and they're really, really doing really well towards bringing back, a stable economy in Canada as far as technology is concerned, healthcare is concerned, finance. Ample job opportunities are there in Canada. Ontario, Vancouver, Alberta, all of these regions have very good job opportunities as well. And I don't have to say it's a multicultural society, because I'll say 80% of the population actually, they are immigrants. They are from all over the world. So you'll see diverse, kind of backgrounds over here, when they welcome all sort of people to Canada from all backgrounds. As far as the safety and stability is concerned, I'll say even if I keep my door unlocked the whole day or the whole night, nothing is going to happen. Nobody is going to enter my house, and I don't have to worry. We don't have alarm systems over here because the crime rate is very, very low, right? It's one of the safest countries across the world. I've spoken about world class education already. And I do want to tell you that once you have permanent residency until 12th grade, your education is completely free for kids. Okay, so till 12th grade, you don't have to worry about the expenses. Public schools are excellent. Both my kids go to public school currently, and I cannot be happier. As far as social benefits are concerned, if any of you, God forbid, you guys are unemployed, there is unemployment insurance that you can avail from the government. There is child support that you can get if you have four, five, six children and you don't earn that much of money. You can always ask for child support, and the government is happy to provide you that option. And then there are retirement pension plans as well, that you can put your money on a monthly basis. You can put some amount of money there, and you can withdraw that money at retirement. So a lot of interest can be accumulated for that as well. And finally, we have a very clean environment. Pollution wise, you guys can Google it. Clean air, water, green spaces, everything is excellent over here. And I don't know why people are worried about the winter. I was also worried about the winter when I came to Ontario. I lived in New York City for about 20 years, and people scared me that you will not be able to stand outside the house. It will be very, very tough for you. You'll get frozen or something like that. But it's not like that at all. The summer was beautiful, and Nurat will agree with me, because we really enjoyed this summer. And the winter, you just have to get used to it, and it's just the same like how you would live in the US or any other country that has winter seasons. It's exactly the same way, so it's not something that is unbearable or you can't take, right? So that's some of the benefits of the startup visa program. And I will now take you through the eligibility overview, and a little bit about the compliance side of how you can comply with the startup visa program as far as regulations are concerned. You need to, as I said, you need to have a qualifying business. And when I say you have a qualifying business, this idea has to be creative, it has to be innovative, it needs to be able to create job opportunities in Canada, it should be globally scalable, it should get some significant benefit to Canada, some economic benefit to Canada. All those criteria have to be fulfilled when we talk about a business plan. And then you also have to comply with the R200 and R205A compliance regulations. And I won't get into the depth of what that basically means, but these are some legal requirements the company has to comply with. That's the fourth important thing, is your letter of support. Extremely important document. The entire process that you go through is for obtaining the letter of support, because without this document, you cannot go ahead and file for permanent residency under this program. Okay. So that's another entire process that you have to go through. Then there's language proficiency, which is a mandatory requirement. All applicants have to get at least a CLB 5 on the IELTS test exam. Only the primary applicant. Your spouses don't have to do this. Only the primary applicant has to apply for the IELTS test exam. Now, if you don't want to do IELTS, because some people feel IELTS test is really difficult to crack, you can go ahead and do your CELPIP test or your PTE test. These are also acceptable language proficiency tests. Okay. And finally, there's proof of settlement funds. You do have to show proof of funds in your business or in your bank account, your personal accounts, that you have X amount of money to survive in Canada if you come on a work permit or a permanent residency. And I will take you through the entire table of proof of funds a little later. Once you guys have more questions, I'm going to show you the table as well. Now, this is just an example of how a letter of support basically looks like. Okay, I've graded out the name of the client, but this is how it basically looks like. And it takes about 2.5, 3 months for us to obtain that letter of support from the designated organization. Of course, you have to speak to them directly. You have to do a pitch presentation. We'll help you. We'll guide you through the process as to how you have to do that, and of course, discuss your business plan with you. So this is just an example of how a letter of support basically looks like. Coming to the language proficiency, I've already told you what the requirements are. The tests you can give are CELPIP, PTE, and IELTS. Okay. And if you guys are good at French, go ahead and give your French exam. That's fine as well. Okay. Just showing you the IELTS calculator here. A CLB 5, an overall of 5, basically means that you have to obtain 4 in reading, 5 in writing, 5 in listening, and 5 in speaking. If you, for example, have a 4 in listening, you fail the IELTS test. Okay, so keep that in mind. Nurut, you want to make a note of this if anybody asks you in the future. 4-5-5-5, that's how they have to get it. If they get a lesser score in any of the bands, they actually failed the CLB 5. Even if they have an overall of 5.5, they still will fail. The DO or IRCC is not going to accept the results. Okay, so make a note of this, please. Okay, moving on. Um, as I said, applicants have to show proof of funds based on their family size. So I'm showing you now the table of the proof of funds, and this proof of funds table can also be seen on the IRCC website. You all can go on the IRCC website and see this. This is updated as of June 2024, but there is another update that has recently happened. So this amount is a little higher, I'll say by $1,500 or so, but I'm going to actually show you the updated one. Just give me a second. Before that, let's go through the document checklist first, and then I will show you the proof of funds table. Now, at the LOS stage, which is the letter of support stage, the documents that I need from applicants, just the primary applicants, is your resume, your passport, your proof of funds, which should be at least a 6 months look back period, which means last 6 months statement I would require. If you're giving me, say, a bank statement, last 6 months is what I need. Your education document, if you're claiming that you're a bachelor's or a master's or a PhD, I would then require your education document. But if you don't have any education, it's absolutely fine. You don't have to submit that. You also have to give me the IELTS test score, which is obtain a CLB 5 and give me the IELTS test score and a formal picture. Okay, which is just the passport size picture you have to click. So all of these details we will give you again once we do the onboarding with you and you decide to go ahead. We will talk to you in person and take you through the entire documentation. We will do at least 4 to 5 rounds of due diligence on your documents before we even send it to the DO and connect with the DO. Okay. When we come to the PR filing stage, firstly, at the PR filing stage, the immigration lawyers will be involved. So take their advice. As far as the documents is concerned, they will discuss with you. In a nutshell, I'm going to show you what documents usually are required. Passports are required for all family members. Last 10 years passport copies is what they need. Your employment experience letters, if you have any, say if you worked with any companies in the last couple of years, then experience letters, education certificates, if you are claiming education, then education certificates, your birth certificate for your entire family, including the kids, your national ID for Nigeria, we would need that as well. Your proof of status in the country of residence, say example, if you are in Saudi Arabia, but you are a Nigerian, by birth, you're a citizen of Nigeria but living in Dubai or Saudi Arabia, then we would need the proof of status in Saudi. What status are you on? Are you on a work permit? Do you have a golden visa or something like that? So, proof of status in country of residence. Your marriage certificate or divorce certificate, whatever is applicable. Your police clearance certificates. Now, very important is for police clearance certificates, Any country where you've lived for more than 6 months after you were 18 years of age, I would require police clearance certificates from those countries. Okay. And of course, the legal team, the law firm that will be dealing with you will inform you when you need to apply for those PCCs. So don't apply immediately after you start the onboarding. Wait for your letter of support to come and then post that once we introduce you to the law firm. Take their advice and go ahead and file for these documents. Then we need a digital photo as per visa specification. All that is already there on the IRCC website. And in case your name is different, for example, your passport has a different name versus your official documents have different names, then we also, you have to give a dual name affidavit. Again, the lawyer involved will help you and guide you and advise you on how you can obtain the dual name affidavit. Okay. So these are some of the documents that you have to get. During the process, if you're stuck with something, of course, the legal team at the law firm will help you out with it. So you don't have to be worried, or be rest assured that everything we will ensure that all the due diligence is done before the filing is even done. Okay. All you have to take care of to qualify for this program is make sure you give your IELTS exam and give your best and get a CLB 5 on the IELTS test. Okay. Moving on, just going to take you very quickly through an internal CRM system that IAI has developed. Immigrate.AI has internally developed for ease, for the ease of the clients, as well as easy for the lawyers who are filing. So this is just an internal CRM system where you will go ahead and upload all your documents, including your passports and your dependent documents. If you've had any background information. For example, a lot of forms need to be filled up when the startup visa application is done. So your sister's details, mother's details, who was your father's name, your mother's name, your sister's name, all of that background information needs to be uploaded. So all of that information will be done on the CRM system. So what we do is, after the onboarding, we will take the clients through an entire training session, and we will tell you exactly what documents need to be put where. So we will give you a username and password for this portal. You can log into this portal and start uploading your documents. An entire training will be given to you, so you don't miss out on any documents. Okay. And then we'll also ensure we review these documents with you before we hand it over to the DO, or we hand it over to the lawyers. Okay. So we ensure the entire package is in place before we speak to the lawyers, and they guide you further on the filing process. Okay. So that's the 5G internal CRM system. Now, very crucial is, and a lot of people, a lot of you will have this question as to how you can be successful in the startup visa program. And, because we've helped so many founders over the past couple of years, we've seen four major reasons, four things that you can do to get success in startup visa. First of all, your social media activity has to be there. I'm sure, when you run your company, you're a very successful company, you have a good product in place, you know that the product will succeed, you have good financial projections for the next 3 to 5 years. But what happens is, then if you don't, when you're not active on social media, nobody will know about your product, right? So you need to have regular activity on LinkedIn, and I'll say you can make a page on Facebook, Instagram, promote your idea and product, and make some noise about your product, and tell the world about what you're bringing to Canada. Okay, so that's the number one reason. Officers will always look at social media content and see whether you're really active on your social media accounts, and whether you're actually telling the world about your product. It shows intent to run this company successfully in Canada. So that's the number one reason to get success in startup visa. The second is a good website with no broken links. So a nice looking website needs to be developed by a tech team. There shouldn't be any broken links on the website. If I click on the LinkedIn, if you've put a link for LinkedIn or Instagram, I should be able to be directed directly to your LinkedIn or Instagram page. Okay. The third reason is SEO, which means your Google search. If I type your name, company's name on Google, are you actually coming there? Can I see you as a company? Am I able to find you? So all of that work needs to be done. The number four reason is founders have to be actively working on their business. And when I say working on your business, you have to make sure you attend regular seminars, conferences, maybe in Nigeria or across the world, wherever you are traveling. You have to work towards your prototypes, towards your MVPs, towards software development, and basically take your company to the next level, right? So the officers are aware of what kind of development you're making. And as I mentioned at the very beginning, business progress reports needs to be sent out. It's not mandatory, it's not written anywhere on the website, but it is recommended that you send your business progress reports on a quarterly basis or a 6 monthly basis to IRCC, so they're aware of the development that the company is making. Okay. This slide is not really updated, but I'm going to tell you that we've processed over 2,000 plus of these applications. We've helped 2,000 plus founders during the startup visa process. And, we've had a very good success ratio till now. And I'll say in the last quarter itself, our lawyers who filed, they saw an immense rise in the PR applications approvals that happened, and the time frame actually was really, really good. And I will now talk about the time frame because the last year on 29th of April, a major regulation changed in the startup visa program. They restricted all the designated organizations to only issue 10 letter of supports every year. Okay, which means that designated organizations have a cap now on them, which means only quality startup visa startup cases will be approved, which means that priority processing was in place. So they announced priority processing on 29th of April 24. And the DOs that we are connected with and we talk to, they're all priority processing, angel investor groups and venture capital funds. Some of the incubators are also priority processing. So when you talk to us, when we onboard you, when we start your process, we will deal with priority processing, is what I meant. So the time frame, the timeline actually reduces quite a lot when it comes under priority processing. Okay. These are some of I was just able to put some of these approvals that we recently got for some of our clients, and this is all under the startup visa program, and there are so many actually. Nurat has an II case timeline that I shared with her, and I will be actually happy to share that with all of you. Nurat, if you have everybody's information, you can actually go ahead and share the II case timelines with them.
Okay.
Okay. So that's the end of the webinar, everybody, and I'm open to your questions now. And I think as some of you have actually posted some questions in the chat. Okay, let's start from the very beginning. Okay. Nurit, I'm going to stop the recording here and we'll answer all the questions now. Okay.
Okay. Okay.